Tour the Stacks with Emily O'Neill.
We're in the 660s.
She's the Technical Services Manager with the Deschutes Public Library.
Which means that I am the department where all of the library materials that you check out come into the libraries.
A big job, overseeing the current collection of 270,000 items.
What makes a library book as opposed to a normal book is how we keep them organized so that members of our community can easily find them.
Say you want to brew beer.
This is going to be cocktails, spirits, wine. This is where most people would anticipate home brewing being.
But go back to the 660s, and
we have business strategy, we have social media, and craft making, soap making in particular. So this area is hobbies, which may or may not be of interest when all you really want to do is learn how to home brew.
Organizational oversight, thanks to this, the Dewey Decimal System.
So that system is over 150 years old.
Making for some limitations.
Anything and everything that came within the last 150 years wasn't initially built into the system.
Important stuff like
air travel and the internet and computers and small businesses and women's right to vote.
All things that weren't around in the 1870s when Melville Dewey came up with his scheme to organize books.
And it makes it difficult for modern society to find materials with a system that was structured that long ago.
So what's a librarian like Emily to do with Dewey?
We're abandoning that and moving forward with a homemade proprietary system that we have called Wayfinder.
That's right. The Deschutes Public Library is dumping the Dewey Decimal System, a change that won't stop these library users.
We learned those in school 50 years ago, and I haven't used them much since.
Usually I just come up here to the manga section, and I always know where that is.
The public, when it's done, will hopefully walk into the library, have a topic of interest, and immediately be able to go to the shelf. Probably discovering new authors, new titles that they maybe never would have come across if they weren't lumped together.
The idea? Organize the library more like a bookstore, grouping titles and category by genre, making browsing easier.
We're not meant to be the only ones that know how to make that system work. We're not meant to be the only people that understand how things are shelved and cataloged.
No one system works for everybody.
Professor Joseph Tennis from the Information School at the University of Washington specializes in classification theory.
This thing that's supposed to be useful to people isn't useful anymore. So it's visible all of a sudden to everybody because it's breaking down. It's like when the plumbing breaks behind the walls, you see it, but you don't see the plumbing until it breaks.
Libraries around the country have created their own classification systems to patch up Dewey's shortcomings. The idea isn't new. In fact, the library reclassified their picture books by category 4 years ago.
And our circulation increased by 20% in that collection when we went to a categoried system.
And that's the goal. Make it easier for folks to get information. And honoring these quotes on the library's facade.
Liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge among the people. John Adams.
His biographies will end up in a relevant Wayfinder category.
Access to knowledge is the supreme act of truly great civilizations. Toni Morrison.
Her novels will be broken up by genre. So is Dewey done for?
No, it's not the demise of Dewey. Dewey is an international classification scheme used all over the world.
We are keeping the Dewey Decimal as a secondary level for us.
A company contracted to relabel books will start work this winter. The swap should be complete by the spring.
It's all about the users. So I applaud your librarians and the community for coming together saying we need a better system for our community.
Because in this business, it's all about finding things.
Our plan and our support to the community is that you should be able to find the information that you seek as easily as possible.
And if a new way to navigate the stacks stresses you out, leave Wayfinder to a librarian. You can continue to use the hold option. In Bend, Steve Kaufman, Central Oregon Daily News.